Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Lisa's Love and Light. How are you guys doing today? Happy Friday to you all. Thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up on the channel and supporting this channel. And I want to thank my subscribers and the viewers and everyone. Thank you so much. Um, Please keep in mind that I am someone who talks from my own personal experiences, and I'm not a counselor, a social worker. I'm not a therapist. I'm just someone who talks about how I overcame pain, grief through healing. And I talk about some of the ways that I have healed and how I continue to stay on this path and not allow any distractions in to stop me because it's important to keep going. So perhaps in these videos that some of you guys or many of you guys will hear something that resonates with you, meaning that you have a situation that's similar and you may need to hear some uplifting information which could help you with your own situation as well. So, guys, let's tap into this topic of discussion today, which is called abuse and healing. Um, Abuse is, it can be challenging when you're dealing with abusive situations. And, when I think of abuse, I think of someone, who a situation that is lowering your self esteem, making you feel less than zero, and lowering everything about you. It's not anything uplifting or it doesn't come in to enhance your life. So, and I see it as being very toxic. Now, if anyone is dealing with this, know that you don't have to. You have a choice in the matter. I dealt with this for far too long. So long I've dealt with abusive situations, circumstances, you name it. I'm also a 9/11 survivor. I've been through the most and the worst. And that's why, I always emphasize I'm not a therapist, social worker, or a counselor. I'm just someone who talks an, um, from a place of personal experiences. And I talk about how I overcame these very difficult things that was very, very hard to overcome, guys. But I've been putting in the work. And what I can tell you so far, that the key factor is to never give up on yourself and to persevere, fight, crawl through these circumstances. And that's what I had to do. And foremost, um, I took God as my partner, prayer all the time. I stay in prayer with God about these things, guys. Um, Not only do I stay in prayer, I keep moving, regardless of what it looks like. And I trust God to do the rest. So, with that, guys, being in an abusive situation, many of us don't agree to be part of an abusive situation. Things happen, especially when you're dealing with narcissistic individuals. I know I was attracting them like flies to honey, or bees to honey, I should say. And I had to sit down and find out why I was attracting these type of individuals. But I wasn't learning lessons. Like I say all the time, life is, things, situations, circumstances, and people come into our life for a reason, a season, a lifetime, or a lesson. And for me, all of these things were lessons. And if the lessons were not being learned, then you have to repeat them. But what I've learned through the process is that repeating these lessons, they get worse and worse and worse. Each time that wheel spins, metaphorically, these lessons get worse and worse. And if we don't learn them, then it just, we just keep riding that wheel. And I want to get off the ride because, this was too much. It was just feeling like the walls were closing in. So I started praying a lot. You know, if you go back a few videos, maybe even yesterday's video where I talk metaphorically about being on a Titanic, that's what it felt like. And everybody leaving me on the sinking Titanic while they get into a lifeboat and sail away. And then, you know, years later, they come back to the aftermath and shocked that I'm still here. And what's been happening in my case that people who have been abusive and toxic as hell in my life, now because God has helped me, because I was at my lowest point, guys, with the grief and the deaths and everything. If you go back and listen to some videos, you'll hear some of it. And it wasn't fun and it wasn't easy to overcome these things. I had to stay in prayer with God. But as I did the work, God took 2 and 3 and 4 steps on my behalf behind the scenes. And that's how I start to get better, you know, one day at a time, and setting boundaries, setting a whole lot of boundaries, setting boundaries, strong boundaries with folks. And when they wouldn't respect the boundaries, I had to cut them off because they were not coming back. Because as they see that I was getting up and I was doing the work, and I wasn't stopping, wasn't going to stop, never going to stop, you know, just going to keep moving forward. They tried to distract me with so many distractions, with, you know, trying to reconcile, trying to do the most. And I had to stay focused because, like I always say in these videos, it's important that we take care of ourselves, guys. There's a lot of negativity and toxicity that's going on in this world today, abusive situations, abusive so much where people are in your face with the toxic drama and negativity. And we have to take care of our physical and mental health so that we don't succumb to these things. You know, we can love people, and sometimes the people, the very people that we love and care about, can be the toxic ones, the abusive ones. And that's why I had to make some strong decisions. And when the um, boundaries were being disrespected, I had to reiterate, uh, hey, I've set boundaries here and they have to be respected. I'm in a place of healing. And when those boundaries were disrespected again, I closed the door, cut off, block, and delete. And today I don't feel any kind of way about it because my mental health and physical health and my peace means everything to me. And I stay in prayer a lot with God, asking Him to help me. That's important. You know, I'm that prayer warrior that I don't give up and I keep going. And everything around me could be happening, you know, that's toxic and abusive. I'm focused on my relationship with God because I'm very connected to Him and doing the work to heal. And that's important. And also, guys, not reopening doors from the past, because these people who have hurt you sometimes, and then you start to heal from it and leave these people where they are. Sometimes what happens is that they try to come back, they put on a new mask to try to charm you and make you think, hey, you know, I'm sorry, this is never going to happen again, A, B, C, and D. But you know, for me, the key factor is that throughout the duration of my connection, whether it was family, a romantic one, a business environment, whatever it is, throughout the entire connection, there was, excuse me, there wasn't a isolated incident. It was incident after incident, you know, after over and over and over again, you know, and to the point where it became too much. And you know, you have to sometimes say goodbye. You have to make an exit to take care of yourself because my mental and physical health is everything. And I knew I didn't want to take in any more toxicity, especially verbal abuse is just as abusive as physical, you know, because these things, in some ways, you know, verbal to me, because the things that people say cuts like a knife and they can't take it back. And in a heat of the moment, and people say certain things, this is how you know how they truly feel. All these things I find abusive. And More importantly, when someone doesn't want to do the work to heal and they want to stay in that place of toxicity, then I have to leave them behind. I can't sit and hold anybody's hand. I'm not carrying anybody's burdens. I'm not doing any of that. I'm focused on healing and helping others to do the same by telling them how I am doing it. And it's not easy, guys, especially when you don't have a physical support system. I have God, I do the work, and I move forward, and God does the rest. And I'm living proof of that. But when we talk about abuse, someone smacking you, before we even get into the physical, um, let's talk about verbal. When someone disrespects you, um, make you feel like you're less than zero with their words, their actions, just treating you like the worst and the most. And what I've learned through the healing process is that I don't have to tolerate that. I don't have to be in any connection, regardless of if it's a romantic or if it's a family or business atmosphere. I don't have to be in a toxic situation or abusive, and I don't have to tolerate it. Remember, guys, you have a choice in these matters. No matter what the abuser is saying to you, you don't have to put up with it. You don't have to stay and put up with something that is not for your highest good, that's bringing pain constantly into your life, that's affecting your mental and physical health. You don't have to stay in these type of situations. Know that there's help out there for you. And one of the ways I help myself is to cut off, block, and delete, and to continue to do therapy. You can talk to a therapist, and everyone doesn't have to be in your personal business. You can choose a therapist, talk to them, do the work to heal. And for me, let me tell you what healing is about besides doing the work with my therapist, the pro and the kind list, and, other things that I do is music. Music is a healing source for the soul. And I also work out at the gym a lot, and that helps as well. Do things that build you up, guys, and stay away from anything that's going to tear you down mentally and physically, because you don't have to be trapped in those type of situations. I used to think that I was trapped in those situations until I started to do the work to heal and just leave those situations behind. Like I said in prior videos, you can bring the people to the water, but you can't make people drink. And if a person don't want to change and they want to stay, and when I say stay, they want to, not change and heal, and they want to stay like being abusive, being toxic, then I choose to leave them behind, leave them where they are. And I choose myself. And it's okay to choose yourself, guys, because you should be a priority, especially when it comes to your physical and mental health. That should always be a priority. Take time out on a daily basis every day for yourself. You don't have to put up with, you don't have to carry other people's burdens and problems. I had a situation not too long ago with someone who I thought, we were building up a friendship or whatever, but something toxic came out of this person's mouth. And I'm glad that I don't have a connection with this person, because what was said made me really realize that this person is carrying a lot of luggage and suitcase and baggage. No matter what it is, guys, heal these things so that when a new connection come into your life, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a business situation, or romantically, that you're not bringing the past with you. You're not carrying suitcases and luggage to a new connection. You're not bringing toxicity to somebody else's table. You can heal these things one day at a time, one step at a time. Do things to build your spirit up, because like I said, right now we're in a world that's the norm. Toxic, toxicity, abuse, you name it, it seems to be the norm, but we don't have to be a part of it. I hear the news, I see what's going on, I acknowledge it, but I don't take it in. I allow myself maybe 5, 10 minutes because we need to know what's going on, but I don't take it in. I stay in a place of peace, listen to my music, do things to uplift my spirit, laughter to the table because that's going to help too, and be around people who are going to motivate you and uplift you, and just somebody to just listen to you when you feel, like your day is not going well, you don't feel well. Having a support system is so important. That also helps you and keeps you going, guys. Just know that you don't have to, that you are worth it, and you don't have to tolerate abuse of any kind, no matter who it comes from. I used to deal with this when it came to family a lot, and then when I would question certain things, well, we're family, we're supposed to, like, I'm supposed to put up with it. And you don't have to put up with any form of abuse from anyone, no matter what they try to attach to it. And so I decide to cut off, block, and delete, and to choose myself and continue to stay to do the work. And guys, the metaphor that I use, the tons of brick, once chose myself and started to heal and started to persevere through all these problems and trials and tribulations, it felt like a ton of bricks was being taken off my back, and I could walk upright. And it's a freeing feeling where you don't have to deal with these things. So take one day at a time, one step at a time, because like I said, once you start to heal, this pain of trauma, grief, depression, then you start to self-care. And as you self-care, you do better, you feel better, and then you self-love. And then eventually what happens is inner peace. And when you get to a place of inner peace, you're not going to let anyone disturb that or try to take that away from you. Remember yesterday I talked about taking back your power? You take back your power by building yourself up, by healing, and not staying in a place of bitterness or stagnation because someone left you there. You choose yourself, you build yourself back up, and you keep going. You turn that pain into power, power into a purpose, purpose into paying it forward, while you help yourself and you help other folks as well so that they can do the same. And when you get to a place of inner peace, let me tell you guys, it is better to be at a place of peace instead of being broken down into pieces. When you feel better, you do better. And then one day you can be in a situation to help somebody else who might be going through a similar situation that you already went through and you overcame. Perhaps you can say something that'll be beneficial to help that person as well. The key factor is to persevere, to keep going. You fall down, get right back up, dust yourself off, keep going. Someone try to do something or whatever, set boundaries, strong boundaries. If they keep like disrespecting those boundaries, then you may have to think about whether you want to keep that door open or not. And as you close some doors and you ask God to help you and you continue to do the work, I promise you he will open up new doors, better situation, better people, and as you continue to grow, heal. Just don't give up on yourself and don't give in to the pain. We're going to keep doing this until we heal this and move forward. That's the message today, guys. Thank you for being here today. You guys continue to do something on a daily basis for yourself. I'm really tired today. It's just with that flooding situation, not getting enough sleep last night, but I'm showing up. I'm going to rest later on. But I wanted to share some things with you guys because there's a lot going on and things might get worse before they get better. Know this: you are important. Make yourself a priority. Stay in prayer and ask God to help you one day at a time, one step at a time. The key factor is to keep going and never give up. That's the message today, guys. Happy Friday to you. Have a great weekend. Enjoy, do something outside. Hopefully, the weather is better. And I'll see you guys sometime on Monday. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. That way, when I come on live, you can be here to join me and invite others to do the same. Let's just keep this going, guys. Thank you again. This is Lisa shedding love and light. And everybody, I will see you on Monday and have a great weekend. Bye for now.